to the Brick and Banter podcast. I'm Ethan Burke, real estate agent with Irongate Realtors. Today I have
Nathan Hedrick. Yeah, owner of Submission Systems Jujitsu Academy. Where am I supposed to look?
Anywhere.
Anywhere?
Me.
Cool. Owner of Submission Systems Jujitsu Academy down in Westchester, Ohio. So we just opened up back in April. Yeah, come check us out.
You said you opened up back in April. You were at like a Taekwondo school, often like one of the side sections.
Yeah. So when I went to open up, that was kind of the only spot that had room for us, and it was a nice space, a lot of room. Just ran into some, I guess, conflicts of timing, disagreements on what had been agreed on. Ended up moving out, moved into Evo Sports, where we are loving our new spot. We are upstairs above their mezzanine office, kind of waiting on some other space to open up so we can expand some more, but we're up there, up there training constantly.
That place is cool.
Yeah, it's been a blessing being in there. We were able to put up wall mats, so we do a decent amount of wrestling off the wall. Yeah, it's my guys are loving it. It's been nice being in there. I get to train and like lift and stuff in there, so it's really convenient.
That's cool.
Plus the guy that owns it, one of the owners, Mike Miller, phenomenal guy to deal with. Just smooth. Everything has been as easy as possible. Haven't had a single snag since we moved in.
That's cool. How'd you get in touch with him?
He was just next door. He's next door. We ran into that snag with the Taekwondo place. It was kind of over just like we were expanding the schedule. And then as the time came, I was like, all right, well, tonight's the night to open this up or this week or whatever. And they were like, it's not what there was just a disagreement on what we talked about.
Yeah.
But I had signed up students based on the expanded schedule. So it was like, well, what am I going to do? Because these were guys that were like wanting the morning classes, wanting the Tuesday, Thursday classes.
Yeah.
And so I had to make a move. We went over there. Me and Mike actually took out a wall from that area that had been there. I believe it's like the recovery area. They've got like I know they've got an ice bath and like some of those ice boots that like pump ice water in. They've got a bunch of like Theraguns, stuff like that. But he moved all that stuff into a downstairs office, and we went up there, took that wall out, and put all the wall mats up, and it's just been super easy since then. We lucked out. The mats I have are exactly 12 feet. They're 6 feet each, and what I'm able to get up in there, it like lines up the way. How many I have? I didn't have a single. You couldn't fit a piece of paper between the wall and my mats. It is so tight. And we just lucked out. Everything kind of just fit together well. They're looking to expand us into another space here in a few months. So we're going to have lots of room. Planning on putting up some cage panels, possibly getting a striking program going once we kind of get established over there. But
would you teach that, or would you bring someone in?
I'd definitely bring somebody in. I could probably like teach somebody some day one stuff and like could show you what I do when I'm hitting the bag. But I took one kickboxing fight. I fought in like a little kickboxing tough man tournament, and that was about it.
Did you win?
Got second. Got flash knocked out, like a flash knockout. So I'm in there, hands up. This other guy was a boxer, so like I'm trying to land some kicks. He punched me square in the forehead, and everything went white. And I'd been knocked out before, like completely knocked out. So in my head, I was like, in that split second, preparing myself, like, all right, you're gonna wake up backstage. You didn't win this one. This wasn't your night, buddy. And then I wake up and I'm still in the cage and this guy's still hitting me in the face. So I put my hands up and I'm looking at the ref and he's looking at me like, and I kind of realized it's just been lights off, lights back on. And so I was dazed, ate a few shots, didn't get knocked out or anything, but definitely did not win the decision on that one. It was not my best showing. Got a liver kick in an earlier match. He ate it. He turned around to look for his corner, and he started waving the fight off on his way there, and he dropped to his knees before he could get to the corner. Felt so bad for that one because this was a kid. They just corral all the fighters together. There's no separation. You're right there. You have no idea who you're going with at these tough man things.
Yeah.
This kid is super nervous sitting next to me, and he's like, you do this a lot. I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, currently at the time I was living up here in a gym, Seiken, phenomenal Muay Thai program. If anybody's just looking for that, go check them out. Jiu-Jitsu, come to me. But I was living in their gym training a lot of Muay Thai. So I was like, yeah, I do this kind of often. And he's like, yeah, I've not really done a lot of it. I'm just hoping to win some money. And then they call out my name, like, all right, you're up next. I'm stretching a little bit, looking around, waiting to see who's about to stand up with me. They call the name. Nobody stands up. But they've like checked, so like he's got to be here. And I look down, and this kid's just staring up at me with like doe eyes. Like, sorry, kid, there's a lot of money on the line tonight. Just not your evening.
How much money was it?
I think it was 1,000 for the winner and 500 for second place. I think I got 500 out of it. But a lot of those, you also won like a slick jacket. That was always a thing, the tough man jackets back home. So never got one of those because I am not a boxer. But Rough and Rowdy, I think, was the promotion. It's one of those like tough man style things where you just show up and it's a lot of hillbillies. They end up taking the kicking part out because so many of these rednecks are just like cannot kick above my waist and not fall down on my own. So, but it was fun. It was fun back when they did those.
So they turned it just into regular straight boxing.
Yeah, it's just a tough man thing now. I'm not even sure if they're still doing it. I think that organization kind of blended in with that redneck brawl thing that's going on now, where it's just like, have you seen that?
I haven't. I've seen like street beefs pop up on like Instagram.
It's kind of like street beefs, but like more out into the country.
We were talking about boxing. That reminded me. I did Muay Thai for a few years. I remember I went up against, we were just sparring. It wasn't like a tournament. But
yeah,
this one dude actually had like serious boxing experience. And they're like that. And I remember like before I could even move my hands, he'd already punched me in the head. I was like, luckily, he wasn't going hard. But it was just like, shit.
Yeah,
I can't stop this.
Boxers, I envy them. I don't want to spend all the time it would take to get good at that. But like, I cannot throw punches when kicks are not involved. Like if it's a rule set, no kicks, I'm like, okay, go ahead, just knock me out. I'm done. Especially where did you do kickboxing at?
Tama.
Okay, I taught up there for like 2-3 months when I first moved up here.
Jujitsu?
Yeah. They Taninko came in to Queen City trying to hire Ruben to come teach some classes, and Ruben was like, I don't want to do that. He's busy with his own stuff.
Yeah.
But I happened to be there at the gym that day, and so he's like, that guy just moved into town, and he probably wants some money, so you can pay him to teach. And I went up there, and they kind of everybody's cool. I still talk to some of those guys. A few of them have dropped into my new spot, but I think they kind of wanted more of a hybrid gi no gi program. They were nice enough to give me a gi. It's still like one of my nicer gis that I have. It had the like. You seen the ones with like the no-gi lining on the inside of the gi top?
No, I've seen with like designs on it.
Yeah, so that's usually like no-gi material that they have. Some type of like, even if it's not stretchy, it's like a very sleek, easy material that's like really nice on the skin. And theirs has that in it. It was super nice. And I taught in it like 3 times. And I was like, I hate this. I'm done. I appreciate it. I'll keep it. I'll cherish it. But I can't do this. I hate gi at this point, which is weird because I did only gi for like 12 years. And now I'm like, never gi.
Yeah. I started doing the no gi at Queen City and just never looked back.
So had you never done any gi before?
I started with that at like, because that was all anybody taught pretty much anyway.
Yeah.
And then started doing the like strictly no gi there. And I'm never going back.
Did you do was it at Tama? Is that where you?
I did a little bit at Tama. I mainly did Muay Thai over there.
Yeah.
I like dropped into a jiu-jitsu class here and there.
Gotcha.
Then for a while I lived up in Oklahoma. So I was at like a Oklahoma jiu-jitsu gym up there.
That's cool.
That was pretty fun. But
cool.
Yeah, moved back here. And then
What were you doing out there?
I went out there for a job.
Yeah. Was it like real estate or something different?
I was working at the airport.
Oh, sweet. I probably got like the nicest, most like understanding TSA people on my way back from my first time at Worlds, because I did okay, but I was out there with a friend. We enjoyed a couple beverages, me and him, before we headed back. And I'm in the line at the TSA and like talking to him, probably not at a quiet volume. Like, what do you think they're like after these guns? The only thing I've been doing is dropping bombs on people. Maybe this was flying from Minnesota. That's what it was. It was on the way back from a fight. And so we were in the casino up there. Shout out to Jason Butcher, who's actually a phenomenal grappler, fighter, super good dude. I've trained with him for a long time. But yeah, we were on our way back, and I'm just like, I've never flown before, so I don't understand.
You like nervous?
I'm more so about just being in the air. I didn't realize, I really wasn't thinking like, oh yeah, so just like shut up around the TSA people. Like, you can't make jokes like that. He thought it was funny. Her across the conveyor belt was not laughing, but she let me go. So we were cool. But how's work been? You been selling many houses? You got much going on?
So a little bit. I'm actually showing Wes a house later.
That's cool. Where's he looking at?
He's looking at. I got it written down. I don't know off the top of my hand. Yeah, he's looking for some land.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
But dude, I was going to thank you for letting me help you and Alyssa buy a house. That was freaking awesome.
Oh, dude, I forgot. Forgot to. Yeah, that was a wild process. Adulting over the last couple years has been. We moved to Ohio together, away from family. We bought a house after being up here for like a year and a half, and then now I've got a business, and it's a lot, but it's pretty cool though. It's the house is awesome. The process was wild. We had not the best luck with our first realtor. Kind of didn't want to work with us on stuff. And then as soon as we switched over, it was like the smoothest process. We ended up getting the same house that we wanted originally. So if anybody's having any trouble finding the right realtor, this guy will get you set up because it was so smooth. It was like a daily nightmare. And we were like, yeah, we get why nobody wants to buy a house. And then as soon as we switched, it was kind of like, oh yeah, everything just started rolling and like it was easy. It turned out it wasn't hard to talk to the other people's people.
No, it's super easy.
Yeah, they were like
That's like half our job.
yeah, well, but we were being told originally by our realtor before you, like, yeah, they're kind of hard to talk to, and then as soon as we switched over, you're like, yeah, no, they're cool with like everything you want. We're gonna go ahead and like get a contract going, and we had the house. I think we closed early, didn't we?
I think a little bit.
A little bit. Like everything was smooth. We had a good a lender.
Yeah.
So everything was fairly smooth on that end. It wasn't hard to get it taken care of. I know there was something. If there's anybody out there looking for a house, we got some type of like, I don't know if you remember like the government program that might have been more on the lender side.
Probably.
But it was like,
which lender was it?
I don't know, man. It's the one that approved us. Cause I was just only like 6 months into working with Connor. So I did not have a super deep financial history because before Alyssa, I was bouncing, serving, just doing whatever to like make enough to train. Then I got a job with Connor and was like, oh, well, I should probably buy a house because we're like making decent money. Time to kind of settle in. And so the lender was like, yeah, I'll work with you. It seems like this is like a legit job. Connor wrote me a letter kind of talking about like, yeah, this is a permanent job. He's going to be around for a little bit. And so the lending stuff was great, but he found some type of program that we qualified for, and it was like zip code based. We couldn't just go anywhere because there were a couple other houses that we'd looked at because we kind of wanted a little bit of land, and we looked at one that was like, I think Franklin. It was a little bit out of the way.
Was that the one with the septic tank that we couldn't find?
Yeah, the septic tank that we couldn't find and the well. I kind of like the idea of being on well water. Just think there's some stuff in the water. It's better to avoid, but also then you worry about what's in the ground, what's coming in the rain. But yeah, we were all set on that. I think it was like the perfect price. Fell in love with it, and then the guy was just like, "Nah,
yeah,
not allowed to do that." Yeah, and it's only like 3-4 miles away, like as far as geographically from the house that we have right now. It's wild how they draw lines, and then if you're here, there's certain rules, and if you're here, there's certain rules. We see that all the time with work doing the excavating.
Yeah, I bet.
You'll have like right here, this place will be like, you have to use this type of pipe. It has to be this type of connections, as if like the world would collapse if you didn't do it. But then the next house over happens to be across a county line, and this inspector will fail you if you do the same thing. He'll be like, weird. That'll cause these issues. And it's like, you guys are tied to the same line.
They need some regulation on that.
Well, with the regulation comes the prices.
Oh, yeah.
Connor showed me one time, if you want to, down in Cincinnati, if you want to tap into a water main, like a main water main, and tap in for a 12-foot pipe, which most places aren't going to need that. But say you were trying to outfit a big factory or something like that, and you needed, it's $1 million just for the fee to tap into it. Not even the work of like running it from there, just just for them to be like, you can cut a hole in that thing and tap in. The approval is almost $1 million.
That's absolutely wild.
We constantly talk about how, like, where's the money coming for all this?
Where's it going to?
That's a good question too.
There's still potholes and stuff. You think if they get that much money,
you would think so. You'd think so, but that's a government one. I don't even know where any of the money's going with them. That's probably a conversation we'd have to definitely cut out of the podcast.
dive down the rabbit hole on that.
Yeah,
the stuff you guys are building. Like I know you built a house. Because Connor actually bought one and basically gutted it and like pulled out the whole foundation. You guys rebuilt that.
Yeah, so that was cool.
Cool.
We pretty much pulled everything but the shell of the house. We actually even, shout out to Zach if he's watching this, we actually kind of like knocked a basement wall in, cracked it, and had to get it fixed. We like cut it down to the bare bones. We rebuilt the stairs. So we tore out the stairs, and it was like, you had to take a ladder up and down to the basement. It was just kind of like a hole down there.
So I remember when I showed him that house, like we were missing like 3 of the bottom steps. We basically had to jump down there.
Yeah, it was a crazy house. It was, you ever see all
was
the
the
stuff?
carny house.
That's what I was getting at. It was the carnival
that.
workers' house. Guy seemed like nice, but there was just some wild stuff. There was so much wild stuff in there that he spent like a month and a half dragging stuff out of there and still end up leaving a bunch of random stuff, including a giant bouncy house that Connor now uses for his daughter's birthday parties.
That's awesome.
He just sets it up, uses it as a water slide. They slide down into his little pond he built. It's just giant, fully functional. There was a fan in there, but we fixed it all up. It was really cool because we got to do flooring, we got to do drywall, we got to do framing. Had somebody come and do the roof because that was like, I want to make sure that's definitely right because that could be rain coming through and stuff.
Yeah.
But we did almost everything in the house, and I'd never done any of that stuff before. So it was like learning a completely new skill almost every day, except the days that we were doing the same skill over and over again, and then it got old. But that's going to be anything. But yeah, we did the house, and that was kind of like a last winter thing where we were trying to, Connor was trying to keep us working and kind of keep us out of the worst crappy weather jobs. So we were at the house most of the winter. We did a couple jobs here and there, but generally we're doing excavating. So showing up, a lot of new builds for the most part, showing up where, DR Horton, I think, is one.
I haven't worked with them yet, but I've talked to them a fair amount.
Yeah, they do a lot of new builds. They've got a bunch of stuff going on, like some really, really big, nice houses. Connor gets in with them, and instead of having to do the like residential homeowner stuff, where we're fixing stuff that's broken, we're usually tapping the mains, tapping into the sewer, and running it to the new build houses. So it's real easy, just kind of like making sure we don't hit anything existing in the dirt. But a lot of digging, a lot of setting up pipe. It's not glamorous, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah. We have a lot of fun. We got, I think, like 4 guys on the crew now. Just kind of one guy that's here and there. But we have a lot of fun. It's days go by fast. It's not too bad. Connor's a sick boss. I'm sure he's watching this, but we have fun. We give each other a lot of crap over stuff, but most of what's going on as far as the school, the house, probably wouldn't be possible if he wasn't as good a boss as he is. Takes good care of us.
That's awesome.
It's always a good time, though.
Anybody else on the crew besides you and him do jiu-jitsu?
So one of the guys, Mike, started, I think probably like 3 months ago. He makes it in when he can. Where I've been there with Connor, when I started, I'd probably been there a little over a year when I started the school. And so instead of having a pay raise, we worked out like a shorter schedule to help me make it to all the classes and be able to do it. And so Mike makes it when he can, but a lot of times there's days where he'll be there a little bit later and he can't quite make it to the evening classes, but he's pretty consistent on the weekends.
So how many students do you have to have before you can just do that full time?
I think for me, like that's something I'm going to put off kind of as long as I can. I would say somewhere around like 100, 150, but that also depends on like what the overhead is, where I'm at. Yeah. I'm not trying to charge people like too much. I think everything's pretty expensive. So I keep it a decent price point because I'm not trying to like race anybody to the bread line either. Yeah. So like gotta pay for what you're getting, and it's a decent quality. It's better than that. I think it's a pretty good quality,
pretty damn good,
especially compared to the area. I say that humbly because I also know like I'm under Ruben. Like our affiliation, Queen City Grappling Club team is the best in the area.
100%.
And so we got Ruben, and he's phenomenal. Dan won Brown Belt Worlds last year. He is up in Dayton. He's phenomenal. So like I try to keep it humble. Like I know in the area that I'm in, it is, I think, humbly the best training you're going to get. But in the general area, like if you get outside of Westchester and you're willing to drive 40, 45 minutes, or maybe you're already located up near Franklin, or Ruben, I moved 3 hours from West Virginia to train under Ruben. So credit where credit's due. Down there in Westchester, which is pretty saturated. I think last time I checked, there's like 8 schools within 15 minutes of me,
That's a lot.
It's a lot. But I got faith in the product.
You're going to have your guys just winning tournament after tournament. People are just going to start flocking.
Yeah, I had a guy just, I think 3, maybe 4 weeks ago compete at a good fight, and he got second. Hard matches, fought hard. There was another guy that was like, all right, this is probably the last tournament before they promote this guy. Yeah. And like those guys belong in white belt divisions. Like they deserve a chance to show like, I'm not a white belt. See this? We'll see if he's there next time. If so, I'm going to call. Well, I'm not going to call him out, but I'm going to be like to my guys, be like, this guy's a sandbagger. This sucks. You're going to have to roll with him again. Because like, all right, promote him now. But super good tournament. He beat all the other guys pretty well that I would say are white belts, and did really good against the guy that I would say would be a blue belt. Like had a good hard match, just happened to lose in overtime. Other guy got a sub. I believe that was the overtime match. It was a hard fought match.
You get any cool submissions?
He got
flashy.
He was going for, so the one that stands out to me is he got on the back, which is a pretty it's a pretty heavy emphasized position for us down there. He got on the back, and other guy's tucking his chin real well, and he just snatches right over the jaw and just starts going at the mandible choke, which is like a thing. Like if I can make you tap, you tap.
Especially if it's a tournament.
Yeah, man. Like that's my $5 medal. That's my $5 medal. I don't care about your health. Like I'll tap quick, and I'll always give a little pause, but at the same time, your ego is not worth my registration fee to me. So like, if I'm in, let's say I'm in an arm bar and this guy just won't tap, and this is a tournament, that's a bummer, man.
You're gonna have surgery now.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, mostly I'm just thinking like, I hope your coach talks to you about this later. Like, it sucks for you, man.
I remember Ruben hosted a tournament, and there were 2 ladies grappling, and one of them got her in it was a straight up locked in Kimura. And she started going, and she was going slow. She was being nice with it. She's like, oh my God, she needs to tap. She needs to tap. Why isn't she snap? She had a full like 2 seconds where she could have just tapped. No.
Injuries like seeing injuries grosses me out because I can like imagine it being done to me, and I don't like it. For me, something I avoid in training a lot is toe holds, because I think in my, it's 2025, so in 15 years, the only training partners that I have ever injured in a way where they had to take time off grappling have all been toe holds. And it's always dudes that just don't tap.
Some people don't respect footlocks.
It's crazy because I'll be in it, and from like my thing is like I'm not doing it to people all the time, but like if it's there and it's like if I'm trying to pass half guard and you got a knee shield and the foot's there and I just cannot get over it, I cannot get around it, I'm gonna threaten this. And if you let me get a hold of it, well now I got to call your bluff. Yeah. I got to start, but I'm gonna go slow and slow. And so then I'm like, all right, well I don't do this a lot, so I don't know where the breaking point is. So I'm gonna go really slow. And then have you ever like popped somebody on a toe hold?
I don't think so. Not in a toe hold.
Really gross because you feel all that tension that happens when like you're folding the ankle. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, because you'll usually be looking at it like, I can't believe he's not tapping yet. All of a sudden it'll pop and you'll see this like big gap under the skin between the ankle bone and the foot. And everything just gets loose.
Did it like break or just like snap a tendon?
I'm assuming it's a tendon because I've never put anybody into a cast. But I have definitely put people like not training for, and when I say people, I mean like I can think of 3. I don't think there's any more. I can think of 3, and they were like, I'm always mad because I'm like, I can't believe, like, now I've injured somebody. I'm gonna feel like about this. But
Were all they like understanding like crap I should have tapped?
all of them, and I'd be even though I'm like immediately like mad inside. I get it. There's been times where like I don't want to tap. I try to get over that, but if you don't have an ego, you're probably not progressing that much, really. Like you gotta want to be better than the other guy.
Yeah.
So I don't like let people snap me, but there have been times where I'm like, I kind of think I can get out of this Kimura. I can think of one recently. I really thought, even though he had the grips, I was like, oh, I can straighten my arm out of here, and I could, but I didn't realize that the way he was, I think it was the way he had my wrist like rolling with his hand. There was just enough tension that right about here, actually, did you hear it?
Yeah.
It just snapped. I'm 90% sure that he broke my elbow. And then
Just let it heal on its own.
yeah, like what else? I don't have health insurance. It's a good job, but I don't have health insurance. So yeah, just ice it. I use this thing called, have you ever heard of Comfrey Leaf?
No.
So Jason Butcher's actually the one that turned me onto this. So it's like a plant. I think it's from the Amazon, but you can use the root for some stuff, the stem for some stuff. But the leaf has like crazy anti-inflammatory like healing properties. So you just get this big bag shipped in. It'll be like 10, 15, 20 bucks or something for like 2-3 pounds. Grind it up in like a coffee grinder and then make like a little paste with hot boiling water. Once it cools down, you just stick it on whatever you're dealing with, wrap it in saran wrap, something that keeps it on, and then tape it up and sleep like that. And it sounds like I'm a lunatic. It sounds like ridiculous, but it legitimately like, it was like a baseball under my elbow. It was pretty obviously broken. I just didn't want to.
Was it like purple and stuff?
No, I don't think it got purple, but it got like, there was definitely a couple weeks where Connor was cool not making me shovel. I was like the gopher. I was like, go for this, go get that, and that's all I could do because I could not use that arm. So I don't know. Maybe it was something with a tendon. Still gives me a little bit of trouble.
Still got like range of motion though.
I've got range of motion decently. Out here, it starts to like hurt, but it's not the end of the world. And when I'm more warmed up, it doesn't really bother me too much. But then it gets stiff after I've like had a hard workout. Yeah. I think it's something that I probably need to like
just some scar tissue for sure.
Like do some some deep tissue massage, try to work it out, do a little bit of mobility. Because if I get like deep into those muscles in between the forearm bones, I can really loosen it up and then like relieve the pain. But it's one of those where it's like, it's obviously, like you said, scar tissue, a little bit of damage to that soft tissue in there. Yeah, So, but yeah, it sucked. Shout out to Johnny for not completely ripping it off, because maybe he probably let go a little bit. Like, what is this guy doing? Why? Like, this is a training session. Just tap. Do as I say, not as I do. If you're one of my guys listening to this, do not let Johnny break your elbow just because you don't want to tap. Learn that lesson. Won't happen again, especially with leg locks. I suppose I'll let somebody choke me unconscious if I trust them enough to let go. But yeah, I can't risk breaking my knees. Yeah. It's one of the reasons that I'm doing the Masters division for Worlds coming up in December instead of doing the adult divisions. Those leg locks, those twisting leg locks, heel hooks, and all the ones that I don't even like. I see them on Instagram. And I'm like, I'm not going to remember that.
There's such a tiny degree between like they got it and it's broken.
Yeah, tight to handicapped it's like this much of a gap, very small. And if I'm not remembering all of the rules of engagement, I might be the one that turns that little inch. And now I've blown my own leg out because I didn't defend with the proper steps. And I think that's a lot of what I know when I go to Masters, I get hard rounds just like I would in any other division, or when I go to open mats, because I'll train with leg locks, but not if the other guy thinks that he, I don't want you heel hooking me if you think a medal's on the line for it.
Because they'll crank that.
Exactly. There was, all the time. Remember that Pat guy? Did you ever see that? He was like a big, I think he was like either Mexican or like Polynesian kind of guy. Forget his name, Pat something. But he kind of got popular on the internet because he would go in and demolish people's legs. Like, give them no chance to tap on purpose. Guys that are not trying to like play around and Brazilian tap or anything like that. They'll be in the middle of it, and he'll snap.
That's just stupid,
Dude.
That's such a dick move.
Nobody.
Because your leg's never going to be the same.
Never. It's for anybody who's watching this and doesn't know what a heel hook is. It's where I use my legs to isolate your thigh. So imagine I've got your thighs here, and it's isolated. My legs are keeping this still. And then I use my upper body to take your lower leg, which is one to be like this, and I turn it backwards. It's like an Indian burn, if you remember those, like twisting your skin.
Your joint.
Yeah, but with your joint, where instead of like, oh, it's just my wrist twisting it, it's my whole torso and my whole hips going in opposite directions to the worst. Brutal. It's like the worst one in the world. And for some reason, it just happens to also be the one that's everybody's favorite right now. So you got to really watch out rolling with certain people because they will go for it.
I think it was Ruben who explained it this way as to why it's like such a dangerous move. But like a normal, if you're doing like an ankle lock or an arm bar or something, you're kind of pulling the joint like that. It's got some flexion. You feel it before you're like, okay, I need to tap like here before I start hurting myself. A heel hook is like if you're pushing it that way.
Yeah.
You don't really feel it until it's already broken.
It's like, yeah, so that is a good one because it's like completely the opposite of what the joint's made to do.
Exactly.
Most of the time, people kind of, I know when I work with my students, a lot of times they'll think that their knee kind of rotates because they see their foot articulate side to side.
Yeah.
And then the hip moves, and it makes it seem like the knee changes. But the knee, it just works one direction. It's like the elbow.
Yeah.
This kind of feels like it moves different directions, but it's just here.
That's all shoulder and wrist.
Mm-hmm. And so, like, dude, heel hooks. It bothers me viscerally. It's like when I think about breaking my leg, because I've seen some people getting their legs broken bad. That scares me. But it's, I guess it's part of the game. Part of the game, you got to get over it.
How long have you been a brown belt?
Long time. I know this is my third year at Worlds as a brown belt. I was a brown belt for at least like 2 years before I moved up here. Can't remember if it was 2.5. I was mostly training gi. I was teaching a little bit back at a school back in West Virginia. Wasn't really my like home base school, and where I kind of linked up with them as a brown belt already. There wasn't as much of like an instruction relationship between me and them. But before I moved up here, they had offered like, yo man, you trying to like we can make this like happen for you if you're like trying to get promoted and not stay as a brown belt forever. But I talked it over with Ruben, and it was one of those like, well, are you trying to compete in the gi? Because I'd say I was pretty good in the gi. Like compared to where I was 3 years ago in no gi, I was probably 10 times better in the gi. I'd come into Ruben's classes when I first was like traveling up to train up here.
Yeah.
Gi classes, I'm good. Not worried about anything. No gi classes, I'm getting heel hooked by blue belts. Like, okay, I thought I was better at this. Like, how long you been training? He's like, 15 months. And I'm like, all right, I think I'm gonna go back to the hotel room and cry for a little bit because that's tough to hear. But yeah, I just kind of ended up. I was like, I don't think that's the way to go with it. I came up here and it was like starting not over because there's a lot of crossover between Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and what Ruben would call American Jiu-Jitsu, but it was not enough to call me like a solid brown belt. Definitely not somebody like getting ready to be a black belt. Right now, looking back at where I was, I could not imagine having gotten my black belt and then trying to be an instructor full time. Like just my understanding of it wasn't, I knew how to grapple with a gi. I knew certain grips on cloth that made a lot of sense, and that taught me a little bit about grappling. But it wasn't until I got up here with Ruben that it was like, I understand how my body works versus another body. I know the actual rules of grappling that will apply to gi. They'd apply to judo on the floor. They'd apply to wrestling for the most part. Obviously not the guard. Yeah, I feel like the last 3 years have been, I probably got 10 times better in the last 3 years than I got in the first 12 years training, which is, again, shout out to Ruben. Probably the best coach that I've ever trained under. The way he runs practice, like a wrestling practice, way different.
Same. Yeah. Like I was kind of off and on doing jujitsu a long time before I came to Queen City.
Yeah.
And like, I went to a bunch of different places. I went to the place out in Oklahoma. I dabbled around at Tama. I went to a few other places around here, and it was mostly like gi. And I thought I kind of knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, and the gym I was going at got really weird. And they were like, "Oh, you can't train with anybody, but you can sign up online and train with like one person." That's weird. I'm not coming here anymore.
Right. Right.
So that's why I was looking up other places and found Ruben's. And I showed up thinking I knew like a little bit. Got destroyed by every single person in the gym.
It happens so fast.
I gotta work. I gotta train here now. Like,
right.
This is amazing.
Right. And it's like there's nothing you can't like deny it. When you go in somewhere and you just get subbed 10 times in 5 minutes, there's like
you get subbed by the nicest people too.
Dude, I remember like the guy that the first guy I ever trained jujitsu with, a guy named Thomas Hastings. He's not like crazy unathletic or anything, but he's like, you wouldn't look at him and be like, that guy will kill you. This guy is like, if I recall correctly, he'd be more likely to be like chilling in cargo shorts with like a manga or a comic book in the pocket. Like he's chilling. And we all know a lot of black belts who are like that. They don't want to be tough with anybody. They're just nerds. They're just nerds that like to grapple. Yeah. I'm probably the same, man. I spend a lot of my like private time playing Nintendo Switch, Pokemon, Fortnite, Zelda. And then I'm like, put it back on its dock. I got to go choke some people for 2 hours. But yeah, no, you're saying like, yeah, you think you know, but Ruben's got a whole different thing. Before I opened my spot up, there would be like Fridays, it's end of the work week, dead from working all the time. And I would go to other gyms. I'd drop in and go to other gyms because I'm like, I can't deal with a Ruben class right now. It'll kill me. I'll die on the mat. Alyssa will have to like sue him to pay for my funeral costs because I don't have life insurance either. They can pay him for that if I don't have health insurance. So I'm just dead on the mat because I wanted to go to a Ruben class on a Friday. I'm good. I would go to other people's like regular classes. Like this is relaxing. I can't believe I'm not even sweating an hour into it. And that's how a lot of classes are. But yeah, if you train and you have not experienced a Ruben competition class before, you owe it to yourself. Find out where you're really at with the sport because it'll unfortunately show you. You'll get a very accurate reading.
I haven't been to his competition class yet, I'm afraid.
Dude, it's nonstop. There's no instruction. You walk in and he's like, wrestle. And then as soon as you're like barely warm, he's like, all right, start doing it for real. Grab each other's legs and fight. He's a lunatic. He's like, fight harder. You do this. And if you're like starting to do it well, he'll be like, start in a worse position. Now fight. And it's like, oh, all right, cool. And then you're getting through and you're like, yeah, we're almost done. And he's like, burpees. And I've heard some people be like, yo, I'm an adult. I don't want to do burpees. Like, dude, that's what I'm here for. Like, let me know how tough I'm not because I need to work on that. If I'm gassing from burpees and wrestling, probably need to do more burpees and wrestling.
Yeah.
But dude, he does not pull his punches. He just yells at you. He'll just yell at you. One of the stories I like to tell about Ruben, this was my first year at Worlds. I went in. This was the year that I blew the lead. First year I went up. It was the match semifinals. Would have gotten me a medal. Would have gotten at least third place. And I go up like 17-0, and I blew a giant lead because I let the guy get on top of me, and he passed me, and he mounted me, and I think I got stuck going back and forth like mountain back, and it was not cool. And afterwards, Ruben is pretty much just like, yeah, man, that sucked. You sucked. I don't know how you did that. You were up so high. And then he was like, yeah, your guard retention was not good. You should have done this. And then in the middle of it, he goes, your hair looks ridiculous. Because I'd like gotten a haircut at some point and just kind of like let it grow out for a couple months. So it was just doing whatever. He's like, you look ridiculous. It's like a child out there grappling with adults. And then he just continued. you can't call it like a compliment sandwich because there's no compliments in there. It was just insult bread with insult deli meat, insult vegetables, and another piece of insult bread. And he was like, eat that. I'm going to go watch somebody else grapple. I think he finished it up with, I think you need to move up and start training with us. And then he just walked off, and that was it. I didn't see him for the rest of my trip to Vegas. And he said it like, it hurt for sure. But it was like, yo, that's 100% true. Like, I was there. It was my guard that got smashed. I'm the one that got stuck, bottom mount, got my back taken. He was correct. So if he was saying like, yo, the way to fix that is for you to pack up, move up here, and train with me, I guess we're going to do that. I guess we're coming up to, we moved to Middletown, but coming to Franklin, Ohio, training at Queen City. And I wouldn't take anything back. We, you know, like I said, we got a new dog up here. We got the house. We have, we were able to get me a truck. And then my wife took my vehicle, so she has a much nicer vehicle now. So it's just been like all blessings, you know, top to bottom.
That's awesome. Where were you before, you said?
Huntington, West Virginia. It is bleak. There is not much money to be made, and a lot of like, not that I was like involved with it, but like a lot of hard drugs, like hard drugs, and that just kind of like changes the landscape of the city. Like a lot of homeless people, which like, you know, shout out to them. I can't imagine what like that is like, all that, but from somebody not engaged in that, who's just kind of like, yo, I'd like to chill in my city and not worry about all this. I've seen some wild stuff, dude. I've seen a guy in a bathrobe attacking another dude with a samurai sword. I assume just like a blunt one, but like that was his weapon of choice. Like he came out of his house, bathrobe open, boxer shorts, like last samurai.
Is that where you were bouncing out there?
Yeah. A lot of, I lucked out and got in with like a college bar setting. And so it wasn't, I dealt with a lot. It was kind of like just some quick paced occasional practice for jujitsu. I didn't personally deal with too much that was like super, super bad for the most part.
Just like drunk college kids being jerks.
A lot of that. I got really good at an arm drag to the back, scoop the neck, hit the underhook, and lead them out hip first, right out on the sidewalk. Because you can also just, and we're done. Go to sleep, and we'll just pull you out the sidewalk. This is cool. Where'd you get the logo done at?
Honestly, I had AI make it.
Dude.
And then I just went to a sign shop and said, hey, send me that.
That is where our logo came from, too. Submit up. Where is it? Turn it that way. There we go. Submission Systems. Wanted like a snake in a skull because I'm on people's backs a lot. Or I'm like doing some open guard stuff, like legs attaching. Yeah. So as I was like getting the school set up, I had like 3 or 4 people like relate it to be. They're like, yeah, it's like rolling with a giant snake. I'm like, that's cool. So I went snake and skull because I'm going for the neck. Usually, it's a safe bet. Hard to be tougher than not having blood in your head. So snake and skull, and I had one that I came up with that was like a little bit like grittier, and then I was like, nah, what I should do is make the snake into an S so we can use that as part of the logo. So yeah, we got a big, like a 35-foot banner up at the school that Evo was cool enough to let us put up in there. Because when you walk in, it's like a huge open, I wouldn't call it a warehouse because it's like a very nice building, but it's like warehouse size space. Bunch of turf. They've got, you know, free weights, machine weights, batting cages. Nice. Dude, it is a very nice place. Back in the back, they have a huge open space that they use for like team sports stuff. There's elite performance climbing, which is like in the back around the corner. They have 2 full-size rock climbing walls. One of them is like electronic. So you put the handholds in there, and it will light up for you and give you specific paths you have to climb up. I haven't tried it yet, but like I want to figure out rock climbing just to try that wall because it looks pretty cool.
There's a place in Dayton called Urban Crag. That place is neat. What they did was they took like a church, like a big steeple and whatnot, hollowed it out, like removed the floor. So like from the basement to the tippy top of the church, they have just rock climbing walls.
That's
inside the entire place. The place is cool.
That's sick. I've seen a jujitsu school that's doing that. They have it's an old church and they've taken everything out, but it's still like stained glass pillars. I think they have like a pulpit above the main wrestling area, but it's like super nice. Like I like it a lot. I've always thought that like having a church building, an older church building that you turn into a jiu-jitsu school would be sick.
Especially if you went all out with it, got like a stained glass picture of one of the Gracies up there.
That might be a lot to do inside a former church. Also, I don't know. So like, I guess Ruben's got Gracie lineage, but like I've never really dealt with any. Like personally, I was fine switching and being like, "Yo, I do American Jiu-Jitsu now." Never really had any great engagements with the Brazilian crowd. You get a lot of like ego, a lot of this, that, whatever. The Gracies have even like I don't know, like you see the thing with the guy that broke his neck when Hinner testified.
No.
So there's a guy. It's probably 2-3 years ago. He was in there grappling. He'd wrestled for years, done a little bit of jiu-jitsu, came to an open mat, I believe it was, and was in a round with the owner. The owner comes...
Is it a no-gi?
No-gi, yes.
I did see that.
Yeah, so he came around kind of like he was going to circle towards the back, I believe, attaches and goes to hit like a rolling back take, but I believe they said that he attached himself and had his like grips backwards. So as he went to roll, instead of his roll folding the guy's head out of the way, it kind of pinned it in place so that he couldn't move. So as he rolled, both of their body weights went straight through the neck and broke. Like he got paralyzed, like Caleb. I don't know if you remember from Queen City. Yeah.
Luckily, he's
dude.
okay
Caleb,
now.
That's what I was about to say, dude. Luckily, he's been back on the mats. He's moving well.
Yeah.
It's great to see him back.
Hell yeah.
But this guy apparently had to have like even more surgeries, which I guess he's kind of in a similar boat. He's back moving around now. But there was during the lawsuit, the broken neck guy's lawyers got Hinner Gracie to come in and testify about basically how it was like all the owner's fault and he should have known better, even though he should have known kind of better, but it's not like that's not a move. Like things do happen. And yeah, this guy should be compensated and taken care of, but he won like $50 million or something.
Dang.
Which is crazy. I guess the one guy had insurance to cover that, but like, I don't think my liability insurance covers $50 million.
That's a lot.
What do you do if you owe somebody $49 million that you don't have?
That's a good question.
So Hinner Gracie goes in and testifies, and the way he testifies is basically, well, we started jiu-jitsu, debatable, credit where credit's due, but I mean, let's look at Sambo dudes. They're smashing and doing about the same stuff. So like, there's something to be said there. But yeah, but Hinner goes in is like, on public record, let's make this official. We invented jiu-jitsu. We teach the correct way. We're the only ones that are really safe about how we show things and we avoid certain techniques.
I'm sure no one's ever got hurt there.
Right. Nobody's ever accidentally blown a knee out or hurt their neck or anything like that. I understand this was like a pretty serious injury, but it's still like... it'd be insane if I just like came home from a practice one day and was like, yeah, Alyssa, we're probably going to owe somebody $49 million in a couple months because this is going to suck. It'd be terrible. But Hinner's like, yeah, and this is completely this guy's fault. If he was doing jiu-jitsu correctly, like we do it, this would never happen. So now you have this guy looking like just a scumbag. Because the average juror is not, they just see chokes and flips and they're like, that's crazy. This guy, really well-spoken, came in a suit, said that that's dangerous, and he's been teaching for how many years? This guy must be just a scumbag.
Has Ruben said anything about giving you a black belt?
Oh, we got Worlds coming up, and then we've talked about it. It's in the works for after Worlds. I don't know exactly when it'll be. I hope it's on the podium. That'd be cool. I've never been promoted on a podium before. So, like, that would be a cool thing. But I could also go up there and get demolished. I don't think that's going to happen. I've been training pretty hard. but I could go all the way to Vegas and then lose first match and not be anywhere near that podium. So
Just depends on how it goes.
yeah, hopefully it goes at least well enough that if I'm not on the podium, he's not like, this guy sucks. There's no way I'm stamping this guy with my approval that he's a black belt. That's the main thing, which I think, one tournament's not make or break with that usually.
Yeah.
But I've been working pretty hard. Been putting a lot of effort into. Lately, it's been building a curriculum for the school down in Westchester. One of the biggest things that I want to do down there, and this has been something I've been thinking about since I came up to Rubens, because he also has kind of gotten me into watching certain instructionals. I gravitate towards Danaher and Gordon a little bit more. I think they're a little bit more like concise with certain things. But what I think could be done with a school is set it up to where we have a very, not a curriculum where it's like, yo, if you can just show me these on anybody, you can get a belt. But what if you could actually line out the actual moves of the game? Like, from here, we do X, Y, Z. Like, these are the main things you are going to learn. I think a white and blue belt curriculum are actually kind of the same thing. But it's like in your first 3 years, these are the techniques that 3-4 years, these are the techniques that you should A, be exposed to, B, be able to replicate, even if it's against a willing partner, and C, you should be able to explain to me what you're doing. You don't necessarily have to be the best teacher, but you should be able, like, if I'm gonna give you a belt based on your knowledge of technique, you should at least be able to talk me through it as you're doing it.
Yeah.
What are the steps? And then, white belts and blue belts learn mostly the same techniques. But if white belt, if the curriculum for closed guard was like armbar, triangle, omoplata, a white belt might need to know these. A blue belt needs to know how to get between them. How does an armbar turn into a triangle? How do you turn a triangle into an armbar when it's not working out? When does an omoplata present itself? You're like starting to really get this curriculum down. For me, like I only teach fundamentals for the most part because I generally only do fundamentals. I'm not a very fancy grappler. Smash passing, outside passing, mount, back, good fundamental arm drags from the bottom. Like that's my main game. I can do a lot of other things, but I find a lot of luck with those things. Now open that curriculum up of like, here's the most basic but important techniques from every position, top and bottom. Here's our fundamental escapes from every position. Here are our positional or submission escapes for every submission that we're learning in these different positions. Like, I think a lot of people go to schools and like, you might learn a lot of techniques, but like, are you in a structured way learning the two sides to every coin? Like, how many techniques have you learned, even at any school? Like, this is for me, like a passion project to line this out. But I know for me, like, there's loads of guard passes I know how to do that I haven't been taught an explicit defense and retention to.
Yeah.
And I think hashing out both sides of those coins to where for every submission I'm teaching, if somebody calls out, well, how do I defend that? I don't ever want to have to like just be, well, don't wind up there, because that's not a good enough answer. Yeah. It's like, well, you just taught him how to do that. He's doing it. He's got me in a triangle. How do I get out of a triangle? Don't wind up there. That is, you hate your students. If that's all you can offer them, just don't wind up there. Like, because I think another part of that too is like, that's a very shut it down answer. Because I think if you chase the same person down on, well, how do I not end up there? You get another like one-dimensional answer, as opposed to, well, this is what's going on. Here's why this is happening. Here's how you can avoid it. Here's another way that they might be setting it up, because we're going to teach you another way to set it up. And now let's reverse engineer that to where if you can hit an arm drag, let's also understand if we're the guy that would be getting arm drug, why is that happening to you? How can you avoid it? How can you turn that into something else? So what I would like to be able to do is take that like general confusion that is most people's first 3 to 5 years of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, there's still going to be like a lot getting thrown at you, but I want to have it laid out in such a way that things flow together and there's answers to the back sides of things. So that, yeah, maybe you come in and for a whole month or 2 months, we're doing nothing but back attacks. At the end of that, instead of it being like, oh, we're doing back attacks, I'm going to get on YouTube and see if there's like a cool back take or a cool back attack that I can show today. It's like, nah, for 2 months, we're working on our defensive hand fight flow, which is going to cover 90% of our defenses all the way up through currently brown belt. There's one drill that I do for most of my defenses there. So we're going to do that every single day for 2 months until you're thinking about it in your sleep. Even if you're a white belt, you're probably safe on your back now, even against somebody who's been doing this a long time. Just like how leg locks. There you got white and blue belts that only drill leg locks, so then they tap black belts who never drill leg locks. How many people are just really drilling hand fighting from the back?
Basically no one.
Nobody. So if my guys have hours of that, even if they get their back taken, it's like, this is boring. I know how to get out of here and I know how to attack on my way out. So I want meticulous growth to where it's like, yeah, maybe you're not seeing a bunch of fancy stuff all the time. But after a year of training, if you look back and you look at the things that we've worked, I'm hoping that to where it's like, all right, maybe it takes 2 years to get a blue belt. Like maybe that's kind of a usual standard. And maybe over the course of 2 years, we've got 24 or 12 subjects that we dive into deep. So that at the end of that, you're like, yeah, I still need to go sharpen all these. And like, now I'm roughly, blue belt. I'm looking at getting that purple belt in 4 years. But it's like during that formative process, while I don't think we should like kill creativity, I think there's like way too much stuff going on for most white belts to like really get good at the sport. Like if you went in day one for Pee Wee basketball, they're not teaching you how to dribble between your legs. They're like, today we're going to dribble with our right hand 10 times in a row, and we're going to hope that we don't kick it off our foot. And then once you get that down, they don't go, oh, okay, we never need to practice dribbling again. They're like, all right, tomorrow it's 20, tomorrow it's 30. Then they hit a number that for time constraints is like about all the time they want to commit to that. And now we do it every day for a very long time. We dribble down the court and we shoot a layup. There's no point in a basketball player's career that he stops doing those basic things. There's, he might hit some freestyled moves as he's like warming up, or as he's, actually training, competing. But he's not like the good guys, the best guys are still hitting free throws. They're not hitting free throws in fancy ways. They're not like, let me find a new way to hit a free throw. There's a pretty basic way of shooting a free throw. And nobody's come up with a better way since, and there's probably not one. So instead of trying a bunch of I'm going to do hook shots, I'm going to do this, spend all that valuable time, free throws, hours a day, over and over. Then when you get to that line, it's just, let's get back, let's get back to the game. Definitely in no-gi, I don't think you see as much drilling on single techniques. Whereas, dude, I'll pick one thing and I'll do it till I do it 1,000 times. I'll write it down in a book. The X pass in gi was one of those where it was for days on end. That's all I'm doing. I'm showing up, not doing anything else. If it's open mat, I'm just hitting X pass. I'm not even gonna roll because I'm just trying to hit that number where I got the X pass down sharp. I did that a couple different times. But then there's techniques where you don't drill them enough. They kind of just become like a basic thing where if you had gotten good at that that boring guard pass, a knee cut, or like an X pass, if you get really, really good at it, like you don't have to get really, really good at the rest because there's a reason that was the fundamental. Yeah. There's a reason we look for crossface, underhook, and mount. So if you get really good at finding that fundamental position, I don't need to be doing all this fancy stuff because if it screws up, it was simple enough that I'll just reset and start it over. It was like zero thought required to start working that.
Those fundamentals are cool and they're important, and you can definitely tell when people do them.
I think it's a huge difference. And some guys get away with not doing it. Some guys have just wild games, and not that you don't do fundamentals. I believe that your fundamentals are there. You're just also like, dude, this guy rolls. I don't think I have it on this phone. I think Alyssa might have it though. There was a picture where I believe that I was in mount, but the way you pulled your foot up and over and like across to try to catch my foot on the other side. So you're using this foot on your back, reached over. It looked so impossible that it looked like I'd been like showing the picture of us right now and be like, yo, AI, make me a jujitsu picture. Because it looked like somebody didn't understand how the body's supposed to work. Like if ChatGPT had given me that, I would circle that part of your leg and be like, nobody can do that. What bodies have you been looking at? When we were going through the pictures, Alyssa was like, did Ethan get hurt? I'm like, no, that's just, you got to watch that guy. Did you have a history in like yoga, or do you do a lot of stretching, or?
I don't. I was just always naturally flexible, and then just being super tall, just makes it like way more exaggerated.
Yeah.
But like, the funny part about it was when I was doing the basic jujitsu stuff, like I always knew, like I feel more comfortable when I do this like weird position. It was rubber guard.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what rubber guard was.
Okay.
So I started looking up like 10th Planet YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually got myself like a jujitsu dummy off Amazon, and I was drilling like the crazy crap that I do.
That's
I was drilling that over and over again on this dummy. It was just, that's how I learned how to do it.
Yeah, I never got into the 10th Planet stuff. Around, I think purple belt, I started having pretty bad trouble with my knee. And so anything that would like compromise my knee, I was just pretty much like, no. Then I got surgery. It limited me for a couple years, and then I started doing like the knees over toes stuff, and it got better. So I've thought about doing the 10th Planet stuff, but yeah, rubber guard, like being in your guard is like, it's all working on instinct, because nothing that you're doing is anything that I'm used to. It's always just like unfamiliar territory. You get like panicked as soon as you feel like legs creeping up, because I don't even know. Generally, I know what we're doing, so like that doesn't mean I'm immune to it, but I'll at least know what I'm dealing with. When I'm in your guard or trying to pass, or like, dude, it's I'm constantly like, why is that foot even over there? What's he got planned for that? And then I'm like, oh, it's over my shoulder. It's ridiculous. Is it all 10th Planet stuff, or is it other people that you watch and draw from?
I think the majority of it is 10th Planet. There was one move specifically. I remember it because it's one of the weirdest ones, but literally it only works because I'm flexible and 6'5".
What's it called?
I don't remember. I don't know the name of it, but it's
Dude,
like
the 10th Planet names are wild.
But this one, it's from if I'm in bottom side mount and they have their arm over this way, I actually just like bring my foot up and stick it underneath their armpit here and just flip them off.
I think you've hit me with that before. I know what you're talking about.
It's a fun one. Like, it's almost impossible to describe, but like seeing it, just like, that shouldn't work.
Are you a buggy choker?
I've tried it. The issue I've had with the buggy choke is I can get to the position, but I can't tighten it. So it's like sometimes they're just like stuck in it.
Yeah.
But if they're not, I can't adjust it. I just have to bail and do something else.
I've just recently got my first finish. I don't have any advice for you, because I'm in the same boat. I can get there, and like I'll get some taps where I think people are like, "Let me out. This is uncomfortable." I can get the position. But I think the other day was the first time I moved in a way where it was like, "Oh, I think you would have actually gone to sleep if I hadn't let go." Usually it's like I either can't get there. For a while I just didn't believe in it, because it was like, that looks goofy. Recently I've been messing with it, and I hit my first one at open mat on Sunday. I was like,
if you figure out how to tighten it, let me know. It'd be fun to add that to the arsenal.
It's one that I'll probably work a little bit before Worlds comes up. I'm not going to like bet the house on a new technique, but the one that I hit, it's not that hard to get into the position. So like if I knew how to adjust it, I'm long enough that like, once I was like, all right, it looks like it works. I think it was after the Craig Jones Chael Sonnen. Did you see where he put him out?
No.
What was his name? Gable Steveson dropped out of his match with Craig, And as a replacement, they got Chael Sonnen. And Chael gets in there, and I think it was either 2 or 3 times in a row, Craig choked him unconscious with a buggy choke.
Dang.
Same move twice in a row. I mean, Chael's not a jiu-jitsu guy, but like still that probably sucked. But it worked so easily. It just was like, oh, that's no problem. I was like, all right, I guess I'll give it a try. And as soon as I tried it for the first time, I was like, oh, yeah, this looks like pretty simple. I think I'm going to be able to. I haven't, like I said, I haven't looked into it too much to figure out how to adjust and finish. But I think if I'd put the effort into it, it'd probably be really, really worth it. You, of course, you'll probably be like triple knotted. You'll bring your other foot back over to your shoulder to lock in. I can't imagine you trying to buggy choke me. That'd be a problem. That'd be a real problem.
So we should play with that one day. That'd be fun. See if we can figure it out.
I bet we could. If you want to stop down to the gym, we got class at 7 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you could make it early on one of those days, that'd give us a little extra time, or weekend or something. Yeah, we'll play with the buggy choke. There was another one I'm trying to think of. What it was called. All that 10th Planet stuff, I cannot remember it because the name just has nothing to do with the thing.
The vaporizer. What the hell does that mean?
Well, yeah, like what does that mean? Am I like really vaporizing? No, it just hurts the joint a lot. Well, I like being able to explain, like if I say a move, I want the word itself that I'm using to just be like part and parcel with the thing you should do.
Yeah.
So like one thing that I've kind of started with some of my newer guys down at the gym is when we talk about ashis, I've been referring to them as leg knots. So instead of having to remember ashis and senkakus and like it's a knot. So we have an entry knot or a remi ashi. We have an outside knot, an inside knot, a butterfly knot. It's almost the exact same thing, but you avoid the whole like, well, what's an ashi? And you also, in the name, you have this implication of like, if I tie a knot, it's tight. You're unable to slip out of a knot. That's what's really going on with a leg lock. And some people will get in on a leg lock and not realize like the connection of the knee line or how much I want to be close to the hips or how I control the lower leg because they're not thinking about it in terms of my legs and your leg are a knot. There's just no untangling them.
Yeah.
So I think when you switch the wording and you just call it what it is, like just say this is this, people can learn it quicker. It kind of goes back to the whole curriculum thing. Like if I can get rid of weird verbiage, then yeah, okay, for new guys that come that have been doing it a little while, it'll take an adjustment. For somebody that starts from day one, it's like smooth sailing. Like how much of the roadblocks of learning can I get out of the way for them to progress? Like there's obviously it's going to be tough. Like I'm personally going to beat you up on the mat whenever we roll. I'm not going to injure you ever, but I'm not going to give you submissions. I'm not going to make it like, I'm not going to gas you up and make you think you're better than you are. Like it will be a challenge to learn the sport. Like you were there. Being new is not fun. But if I can try to identify the places where a willing white belt would get better, but we're not focusing on that, and we can kind of like really speed up that progress. Yeah, like you've got years before like me, like I've been doing this for 15 years. In 5 years, like you could become a good round, but unless you're a phenom, I don't need to be like egotistically gatekeeping techniques. Yeah. In 5 years, I want you as good as humanly possible. Because I want a good training partner. Like most of my guys are white belts and blue belts. And I got some guys that give me good rounds, but like I want a guy who knows all my stuff that's like an AI supercomputer robot that will, if I slack for a second, he will beat me. He will catch me. And I want that as quick as possible for you and for me. Like how quick can we get you to where you are now like, oh, like I can kind of keep up with coach. And as it happens, like I'm getting older. You look at guys like Danaher. Danaher's not the best coach in the world because he can beat Gordon. I would imagine Gordon could maul Danaher like he's rolling with a dummy, like if it really came down to it. So like as I get older, as I build those students up, like they'll take the role of beating up the new guys, like, and I'll take the role of like, maybe we have maybe more competitive rounds by the time I'm 40. me and, a hypothetical, student. But are you able to coach like me? Probably not. And do you find value in what I bring to the table? I sure hope so, because I'll still be studying the new metas. I'll be studying the old fundamentals. And it'll be like, all right, I'll be able to, you keep doing your thing, but I'll see where those gaps still are. We'll continue building you up until, like eventually, like I give you that black belt, and now you're like, you got a seat at the table. Go where you want, open up where you want. But can we shorten that gap where, because we I know upper belts, we give white belts jokes for being a little like impaired, like, oh, you're making some dumb mistakes over there. How much of that's our fault for like not taking the time to be like, yeah, guys, we're going to have a boring class today. I've seen that every single one of you doesn't shrimp out of side control well. So that's what we're doing. We just got here, warm up, let's get sweaty. And now we're gonna drill this one escape for 40 minutes. And then we're gonna start from that position and we're gonna do live goes. And the second you get out or the second they mount you, we reset and we're just right there. And we're gonna stay here until I see every single one of you at least start to try to do the right thing as an instinct. Like, I think we owe it to our student. Like, you gotta keep them captivated and engaged. But I think you owe it to them to be like, on a certain level, I know what's best, and it's not what's fun and engaging. It's that thing that you saw the other day that, yeah, maybe you did okay with it, but you need more time. Maybe you didn't like it. Maybe you did not do well with it, and you didn't have fun in class. Well, you're going to have a lot less fun when you're stuck in bottom side control in a live round.
Yeah.
And the high-calorie grappler who lives for top side control gets a hold of that far side Kimura. And then he does it again 4 more times in the same round. Like, you're going to be like, yeah, this is actually worse than that class where I didn't want to drill this technique. My goal, like, I want to make the best purple belts possible. Like, how quickly and efficiently can I make a purple belt that could walk in any gym in the world and people be like, yeah, I get why this guy has that belt on. Like, he is in every spot. He's got some level of answer. Purple belt's still working on timing. They're working on sharpening the exact like flow of their game and when to use certain techniques and when to pick certain options. But a purple belt should, for the most part, like not wind up somewhere and be like, I don't have a clue what to do from here.
Yeah.
You should have some idea. That's what I want. I want some guys that are like, that have a deep knowledge of the game. Not just, I want to be tough. I will make sure they're tough because we roll every day. But I want them to leave, at least most of them. You can't force everybody to think of the game a certain way, but I want them to leave and know the game. Because for me, I thought about this a few years ago. I think a black belt, like a real black belt, is somebody that if you took them and you dropped them off somewhere that had zero jujitsu, nobody'd ever even heard of it, to like remind you of a technique or show you anything. If you just got dropped off and isolated, could you recreate the sport of jujitsu? Could you take a big group of people that do not know the sport, and for all the different body types and all the proclivities towards different positions and submissions, could you, maybe not every single like little nuance, but within the fundamentals, could you actually recreate it? And I think you see a lot of black belts who like maybe don't, like maybe they don't really have any options from a half guard or from a butterfly guard. And so it's like, so if you got dropped off, like jiu-jitsu is less for that. So I want to instill that in my guys of like, there's a game, there is a specific way of playing it. There are rules for each position. There's a certain truth to each position. And if you know this, if you know these little facts, you just have a much easier time. It's not like pushing against, an opposing force. You just kind of like, just kind of do something that the other guy doesn't. It's like black magic. It's like that first time you walked into jiu-jitsu. Like, you didn't know any of the rules. So go deeper. Learn rules that guy who knows the basic rules doesn't know. Learn deeper truths to the sport. And then that guy's like, what is this guy doing? And it's like, well, come over here and I'll show you. And that's the growth of it.
I still remember the wild feeling of walking into a jiu-jitsu gym for the first time. You have no idea what's going on. Everybody they have those body mechanics you haven't developed yet.
Yes.
And then you're just getting rocked by everybody, and then you just keep going, you keep showing up. You're like, okay, from here I don't know anything. What's a move from here? Okay, now I know something from here. I don't know anything from this position. What's something from here? Then eventually, you keep going, you finally get to the point where you're catching up, and you're like, that guy's new. I'm new too. Let me roll with him, and you just demolish him. You're like, it's clicking now,
right? That's the hard thing for a lot of new people. Like, say somebody comes in today at Queen City. If nobody else new came in for the next 6 months, they're getting beat up so bad for 6 months. So bad as the new guy. Like, you're everybody's scratching posts. Like, you practice dumb. Like, everybody is just having their way with you. And then, and you might think like, oh, I'm still really, really bad at this because like you're never getting to be offense. You're always just on defense. And then one new guy comes in and you beat him up so bad that you're like,
you realize how much you actually know.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I didn't know it was working. I didn't realize it was working. I think white belt's like immunization.
Yeah.
Like you get exposed to stuff and you become like a little bit immune to it. You learn how to kind of fight it off. And then blue belt's when you start learning like, oh, I'm gonna get hold of this white belt and do something to him. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a bad day for this guy. Blue belts are well, purple belts are the worst. Purple belts can be psychotic. The way they're just like, I'm coming at everybody. I'm gonna skip warm ups, show up, and berimbolo my way to a heel hook. What are you doing here? This is crazy. This is crazy the way you act.
And then once they get to brown belt, they like mellow out again.
Usually, I know for me, I was a purple belt. So the reason I've been training 15 years and have not taken any gaps other than like 6 months or so, maybe close to a year-ish when I had my knee surgery. It was probably closer to 6 months. But that was the only time I took off. But I moved a bunch as a purple belt. So I moved back and forth between here and Ohio a few times, trained at different schools. So I just was kind of like a nomad purple belt. Yeah. By the time I was ready, like settled in with the school, and I'm like, I'm not leaving until I get promoted. I've been a purple belt for like 6 years. So I'm out there like in a gi, like collar choking guys and like staring at the instructor. Like, you see this? You see this? This is another one of your purple belts. Give me that thing. And it was like when I got my brown belt, it was like somebody exorcised a demon from me. All of a sudden I could like chill out. It wasn't.
We we're trying to prove anything anymore.
Nah. Yeah. And sometimes I was just trying to prove it to myself. Because I'm like, why do I still have this thing on my waist? I should. When you're in the gi, it's so in your face that you can get hung up on it. Because in those schools, you also a lot of times have like an imposed hierarchy where it's like, oh, that guy's got a deeper color on his belt, so he's allowed to tell you to wash his car. I've seen that from black belts, like weird cult stuff where it's like, yeah, I get to decide everything because I'm a purple belt and you guys are just blue belts. Even at the lowest levels, it's like,
that's weird.
Yeah, it's just like monkeys fighting to get to the top of the ladder. It's a really wild. Not all schools are like that, obviously, but it's a lot more prevalent, I think, because you have this like
it's like
formal,
right there in front of you.
Yeah, and you're wearing your like I'm a samurai. It's honor, respect, which is like those things are important, but it's also like I'm also just a dude with some buddies and we're wrestling. Like, yeah, there's an art to it. It is discipline. You will learn a lot about yourself, but like I'm not trying to take it so seriously that I'm like that guy didn't bow to me at the end of class. Like, that's a weird one. The martial arts that expect you to bow to somebody. Like,
yeah, I was at one place and there was a white belt and his like belt was falling off while they were standing there. He was like, oh, he was trying to adjust it, and the teacher got mad at him because he didn't like turn away to fix his belt.
I actually forgot about that one. Or bowing onto the mat. I still do it every now and then out of like this 12-year deeply seared into my brain habit. I'll like little bow, pat the knees, and then I'm like, why did I do that? Not only do I not have to, but everybody here at Queen City is looking at me like a goofball now because nobody does that. But all the bowing, it's like, why? What do I got? We're not in Asia, so like if you're over, and that's not like all like over there, it's normal. Like you learn from a child. Like if you respect that guy, that's how you do it. Yeah. Bro, somebody taught me when I was a kid, like. You just kind of like look them in the eye and you stand up straight and you listen to what they have to say and you respond respectfully and you give them a handshake. And I don't know about bowing to people. That sounds like something you do to a king, maybe if they make you.
I get it. It is kind of weird, but like at the same time, like there's almost kind of a cool mysticism to the old school traditional martial arts that it's not there anymore, but it didn't really need to be. But it was cool, you know. It was cool.
It was super cool, and that's the weird thing. Is like
until people take it too seriously and ask you to wash their car.
But so here would be my question: like, were samurais like? I'm sure they felt fairly cool in their like samurai stuff, but like that was also just like normal for them. Like, it wasn't like this completely separate thing that they like borrowed from some other culture. It was like these are
was their culture.
Yeah, it was like this is our stuff. So like, why I don't know. It just seems like why are we attached to like this specific like, oh, I've got the kimono on with the belt. It seems super unrealistic. Like nobody's worn something like that over here in a long time. Why do we not have a martial art that has something closer to our type of clothing? But yeah, shout out to Queen City. Shout out to Jason Butcher. Shout out to Irongate Realtors for having us in here. They've got a really nice studio, really nice place. Haven't met everybody, but I know working with Ethan was phenomenal. So if he's enjoying being up here, it's got to be a good place with good people. So give them a shot if you're looking for a house. They will, I would have to imagine, certainly be able to get you set up.
How do people find you?
So you can find us on, I got submissionsystems.com. Insane. Nice. Yeah, insane that was just open. So www.submissionsystems.com has our schedule, location. If you're interested, if you have any children in the area and you would like to bring them in, we will be having a kids program starting in January. So on our website, there's a little questionnaire you can fill out, give us our information, or give us your information. I'll reach out to you and get you set up with, get you a little intro class. I'm having some kids come in for lessons right now on Saturdays usually. So in the meantime, we'll get you in, do a couple of lessons here and there, show you the basics, and then classes like through the week will start whatever that first week of January is. I think it's the second or third is the Monday.
What's the age range for the kids class?
Probably looking at 6 and up. Personally, I think you should be domesticated by the public school system 1 year before I get you. Homeschool kids are obviously also welcome. So that's another thing. I am open to setting up homeschool classes during the day, but I need enough of a turnout to justify taking off work to do that. I'd like to make this my full-time thing, but I have a wife and we're trying for a baby this year. Nice. So, thank you. But if there's any homeschool people out there who would be interested in setting that up, we got space. I could definitely cut out the time, and we could have a homeschool specific time cut out for you midday. That would be kind of like a PE class for your kids. You could also find us at Instagram at Submission Systems AJJ. I got a lot of cool stuff on there. I'm not as active as I should be. I'm trying to work on it. I'm a little bit of a caveman. I am really bad with technology. I just this year logged into online banking for my first time, and it's been a roller coaster. I can send Zelle now. That's a start. But yeah, the online stuff kind of escapes me, but I'm trying to get better with it. But check us out on there. We got some cool videos, pictures. Got some of the guys on there, pictures from competition. Shout out to my guys. Obviously, thank you guys for trusting me to teach you the sport. You guys kill it. Every day you're in there, doing well at competition. If you're not one of my guys and you're in the area, you should watch out for them at competition because they have recently been tearing it up, doing a really good job. I'm proud of them. Not just the results, but the way they're getting the results and how they're applying the technique. Good group of guys, good application of the curriculum. Really happy to be down in there. Shout out to Evo also. We got Mike. We got Noah. Noah has his body activation, and he also owns the climbing. Just a lot of stuff going on down in Evo. So if you're looking for anything fitness related, that is your spot in Westchester. But yeah, man, thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Appreciate it.
Hope I didn't talk too much.